right. Welcome to another episode of Connect and Politic. We're here with a special guest. Please introduce yourself by telling us your name, where you're currently located, and your favorite snack.
My name is Armanigo Ufumata. Some people call me Moni, and that's okay. I am a former DC resident. I am currently on sabbatical, and I've been a nomad for the past few months. I am currently in quarantine and lockdown with my sister in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And my favorite snack are grapes.
Any seedless, with seed?
Seedless, green, sweet grapes.
Have you had the cotton candy?
Yes, I've had those. Those are good.
Okay.
Yeah, I like those. And I like the really small champagne grapes sometimes too.
Yeah. Nice.
But when I'm traveling in Europe, I like seeded grapes better than seedless.
In
For
Europe,
some
but not here.
Not here. I don't know.
Too much GMOs, I guess. All right.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
do,
Exactly.
do you remember your favorite food as a child?
My favorite food as a child, probably I love stew. So anything with stew, like plantain and stew, rice and stew, pounded yam with vegetable soup and stew. Do you know Nigerian stew?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my favorite. Anything with stew.
And what's your favorite meal as an adult?
I don't have a favorite right now. My favorite type of food right now is Thai food.
And when was the last time you had Thai food?
Last time I had Thai food was Mother's Day. Very specific, right?
What's your, do you have a certain dish that you like?
So I always go for a pad thai, drunken noodle, kurpao, Penang curry.
Oh, so everything.
No, in that order. In that order.
Oh, okay, okay.
But I will say, and this is not me flexing, maybe it is a slight flex. Like Thai food in Thailand just made it. It's not like what we have here at all. Um, and I fell in love with Thai food, most especially when I was in Thailand. It's inexpensive, but they always do like everything is based on four things. So there's heat, um, there's spice, like something tangy, like limey, sometimes sweet, and I can't remember what the fourth thing is now. But anyway, yeah, it's
Nice.
really good. Yeah.
Well, what's your fondest memory from childhood?
Oh my goodness, playing with my siblings. I have four siblings, and we grew up. We had a really big yard, but even when we lived in smaller places, we just always had like outdoor space. And I just remember playing outside. I really loved a swing. I still love getting on a swing, and we had a little swing at home. So that's like one of the things that always sticks out in my mind.
Do you miss, is there anything you miss about being a child?
Yeah, I miss just being carefree. Um, I will say that I want to say I miss being aware, but my parents were always like talking to us about social issues. So I remember being really young and watching like Danny Glover play Nelson Mandela and just like wanting to go there and fight for his freedom. And like I think Alfred Woodard was like Winnie Mandela, and I just have this, yeah. So I do miss being carefree, but I'm grateful to have always been like a conscious child at the same time.
Hmm. And how do you think your childhood helped groom you into the person you are today?
Oh, a lot. So people like right now I travel a lot and I've always traveled a lot. I love to travel and people always ask me if I travel because I blog and or what got me in traveling into traveling, and I say all the time it's just how I was raised. Like my parents traveled a lot when I was a child. Like I was born in another country. I was born in the UK, grew up in Nigeria, and now we live in America. We also, my dad lived in Saudi Arabia. We visited there, traveled there. We would travel within Nigeria. So that really prepared me for who I am. And I've always been curious about the world and just wanting to go places. And it really started from when I was really young.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, uh, similar, like I have a similar background and
Yes, yeah.
yeah. And it's one of those things where the idea of airplanes, is just it's fascinating. You start out in one
Yeah.
place, and within 8 to 12 hours, completely different place. And as a kid,
Yeah.
when I was a kid, this is when there were the double deckers.
Yeah. I remember
So
that.
we just run around. You as soon as you get on, you just run it. You just run it like you have a
Yeah,
blast. But yeah. Um,
I agree.
so what are traveling and experiencing different cultures seem to be something that's important to you. But
Yeah.
what are some of the most important lessons you learned from your parents?
Um, so from my parents, I would say that like I've learned that family comes first. So we were always taught that like our siblings they're my first friends. We always looked out for each other. We like shared homework. Went to school together, walked home together, did homework at the same time. And we always just like had each other's backs. I remember I sucked at math and my brother was really good at math. So he would literally do my math homework and I would write his essays.
Nice, nice. That's
Totally
good.
like a complete violation of like the honor code of our homework, but whatever. I passed. And it's also why I can't even calculate the tip right now because my brother did all my math homework, but that's a whole nother story. Um, but our parents like really instilled that. There was that, and also of course like academic excellence. Like that was number one in our household. Even just similar memory related to homework. Our parents told our teachers that if their signature wasn't at the end of our homework, it means that we cut corners and they hadn't checked it
Wow,
yet. And that was like the rule that only applied to us, like out of everybody in the school.
that's crazy.
And so we would get in trouble if we like turned in our homework and our parents' signature wasn't at the bottom until we figured out how to like forge our parents' signature. And that was when it really came in handy that my brother would do some of my homework. I can remember most of my math homework and my art homework. I couldn't draw to save my life, but I could paint and I could color. So I
Yeah,
would start all my art assignments in class, but they would let you take it home because art, it takes some
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
I used to just fake and not do anything in class, take that thing home. My brother would draw for me and everything, turn it in, forge signature. Here we
Wow.
go. But I'll definitely say that, like, my mom used to always say that, she was like, there's nothing you all have the same natural ability. You just have to apply yourselves. Like, there's no, she say the chores in this household are not gender separated and neither are your abilities. Like everybody needs to like apply themselves, excel, do
Yeah,
your best. And so that was definitely one of the most resounding lessons of
yeah.
my childhood.
No, those are good. Were there anything or something that surprised you that you learned when you transitioned out of your parents' house into adulthood?
About them or about myself?
About just the world,
Just the
yourself.
world. Yeah. Um, well, I quickly learned that like life isn't linear, right? When you're in your parents' homes and you have that security and you have um, what's the word, like engaged parents who are like involved in your work and what you're doing, how you're applying yourself, you kind of think that the world is easy in that way, or it's familiar in that way, but it's not. And when you transition out of your parents' homes and you find that sometimes you do apply yourself and you do work hard, but you just don't earn the same grade that you thought, or sometimes your confidence is not even there because there's not that parent or that person checking, making sure that it's up to standard or something, or you get in the world and you just don't do so great at a work project. You know, those things happen, but it takes some time to kind of wrap your mind around, you know, wow, this is a real shift. It's a change. The world is not as linear as I thought it was, or as my childhood made it seem.
Yeah.
But you soon learn to adjust. And I think one of the greatest things is just like adaptability. I don't know if it's like an African parent thing, but they just really teach you how to adapt in different situations, how to be malleable, and how to still thrive and strive
Mm.
to excel regardless of what the challenges are. So
Yeah.
I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, I think the adaptability piece, it may transcend African and more so immigrants.
Yes, that's real.
You know, like
Agree.
just given the nature of you leaving your home or somewhere and having to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Um, what are your favorite things to do for self-care?
Oh, travel, spa treatments, quiet time. As extroverted as I can be, I can go into periods of time where like I can come out of it and my jaw hurts because I haven't spoken a word to anyone. But those are necessary. But I definitely have, I'm grateful to be able to be conscious and just kind of also know when I need that self care or that retreat,
Mhm.
and to make sure that I carve out time to take it.
So,
Yeah.
uh, have you done the silent retreat? You know, where folks go to Peru, India, different places, but for an extended period of time where there's no talking, it's just
Yeah.
silence.
There's one in Maryland too. No, I haven't been to any of those. Like at the same time, I think I would still want to control how long I would be silent. Which, so, you know, I mean, it's self-care, right? So I'm going to determine how long, when I need it and how long.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know that if it's like an imposed 1 week silent thing that yeah, it might turn from self-care to like anxiety. I don't know.
Gotcha. What are some things you do for self growth?
Oh, lots of things. Read a lot. I just finished reading a book actually. So I've been interchanging between fiction and nonfiction. And when I am on the nonfiction, I kind of try to do like a business read, a self-help inspirational read, or something like that, or psychotherapy type stuff. And what I say, business, and then something historic. So um, I do a lot of reading. That helps me a lot, in terms of self growth. Um, so yeah, I would say that that's primarily self. Yeah, right now it's a lot of reading.
Yeah, and why the rotation between nonfiction and fiction?
Because fiction can be heavy depending on the topic, or sorry, nonfiction can be heavy rather. And so I try to go like something that, you know, kind of just for balance basically. So that I'm not like inundating myself sometimes with either information or just topics that are really heavy. But then again, some of the fiction stuff I read, like I Colson Whitehead, he's super heavy, you know, but just an excellent writer that when you think about it in terms of, oh, wow, this is still something that came out of a person's imagination, maybe based on history. But when I read works of fiction, that helps me, you know, just the fact that this is a creative piece of work, I kind of feed into that same energy and I enjoy it for those reasons. And then the other stuff is just really like, what information am I gathering? How am I applying this? What does it mean? Why? So there's a lot more analysis that goes into some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you were to write a book, what would it be about?
Um, I am writing some. If I were to write one, a lot of the books, the characters that come to me are usually female characters that are set in they're in African settings or and usually have the conflicts in those stories are usually around something related to family, um, like family relations.
Yeah.
So.
What do you do in your professional life, and is there any different than what you dream about as a kid?
Yeah, so well, I'm on a sabbatical right now. I guess I should have actually said that as part of my self-care answer. So I just left my job in at the beginning of October 2019. And I packed up my house, moved out of DC. I'm not even sure if you're aware of this. So I've been traveling and on the road. Um, but professionally, I guess you can say I'm a public policy professional. I've worked in government and politics for the past almost 15 years now. Most of my work has been in DC. I've worked on Capitol Hill, K Street, DC government, a lot of health policy positions. I wanted to be a lawyer when I was younger, and I did try for law school. I didn't get in, but also I ran into someone who asked me what I really wanted to do. And it turns out that I wanted to do government. I wanted government change and government policies, but I wanted to get a whole law degree in order to do that. And they were like, why don't you just get a public policy degree instead of spending all of that money? So I pivoted and went and got a public policy degree, a public administration degree, and I worked in that field for a long time.
Nice. Is there something on your bucket list to learn or do? I mean, I know you travel a lot, so I'm sure
So,
there are other
oh
places
my
to
God, there's
travel.
so many things on my bucket list. Like, I've been recently talking to my sister about wanting to become a psychotherapist. So I don't know if like I was asking, I was like, what kind of education do I need? I might still do it. I don't know why. Recently, I'm just like fascinated with emotional intelligence, people's relationships with each other and with themselves, helping people figure out like soul work, I call it. So I'm really interested in that. But I will say that I possibly because of how I was raised, I have been always had the personality that if there's something I want to learn or try to do, that I'll like take a class, teach myself and do it. So like I have a makeup artistry certificate. So I've done that. I've been a makeup artist for a while. I write. I've had writing courses. I've done writing courses. Um, I know how to knit and crochet. I love baking but I sucked at cake decorating. So I took a cake decorating class at Michael's and they give you a little certificate. It's so cute. So I'm just like an advocate for, just try it. It's not as easy to try everything you want to do because it costs money or you have to like stop your life and go to school for a really long time.
Mm.
But I've been reading books like about psychotherapy. I just read one called Attached, and it talks about people's attachment styles and just kind of like how your childhood and upbringing creates some of our attachment styles. And he lists 3 attachment styles. Like you can either fall into one of those 3 categories, and sometimes you shift between them, and how you relate with between those attachment styles. Very fascinating.
Nice, nice. Um, can you think of any advice that you would give your younger self?
What advice would I give my younger self? Um, Maybe just let go of arbitrary timelines. Um, I I don't know if it's difficult to say that you won't form them when you're younger, but don't let any of those like create um any ideas that you haven't accomplished something if you reach that timeline or that age and you feel like something hasn't happened, right?
Mm.
Because like I said earlier, life is just not linear. It's full of twists and turns. And so I would just say, just grasp onto that spirit and just live your life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good advice, uh, even to an adult self. What's the best advice you receive about money?
Oh, invest, save, manage. Um, I I'm a person that has needed to change my mentality around money. Like I don't know why, but I used to say, and I've written about this before, I've blogged about it, that like financial stuff used to give me anxiety. Um, and whether it was like making money, spending it, like even negotiating salaries and things like that. So I had to first work on just like my mindset about money, right? That like first of all, scared money don't make no money, right? I don't know which rapper said that, but it applies. um,
Uh,
but also that money doesn't define you, but it's good to have some security around it. So learning how to save, um, and also just learning how to manage, right? You never want to be, especially as a woman, you never want to be in a place or a position where you don't know how to manage money to some degree, because like basically we need it. Your credit needs to be together.
yep, yep. You mentioned, I think you mentioned a couple times now, a blog. Do you want to shout out the blog?
Yeah, plug. Thank you. So I have a travel blog. It's called Miles and Braids. So MILESANDBRAIDS.com. And it's my travel blog because, and I say that I earn miles while rocking braids. I wear my hair in braids like 90% of the year. And so I talk about some of my trips, my experiences. I give some advice and tips. Talk about housing, how you can find things to do when you're on different trips and different vacations. So yeah, please check it out.
Nice,
I just wrote out all the countries I've been to, and I've been to 40 countries, like 43, sorry, so far. So,
nice, nice. What has been the toughest thing you've had to tackle, and what helped you get through it?
oh my goodness. One thing. um, wow. Right now, right, because of everything that's going on, um, it just, I have to say, there's like just experiencing racism, racial issues, tension. Um, right now, I just feel so affected by everything that's going on, whether from like issues I've faced with racism and indirect issues. So that just feels very prominent in my mind right now, just as a Black woman.
Mm.
So I would have to say issues around that. And just really quickly, because I just remembered this the other day, like I remember I worked at a job when I was in grad school. And after I got my grad degree, I went to the chief of staff and I asked that I wanted to be promoted. And I didn't even ask for a promotion in title, but I asked for a promotion to get more issues in my portfolio. And he pretty much told me that I was the diversity hire and they thought that I would be quiet. That was why they hired me instead of other Black people. Like, wow. Yeah. So I just remember that recently.
Yeah,
And I remember being really angry, really frustrated, speaking up for myself, and but also just being like emotionally just worn out by, I was shocked first of all, but I spoke up right in that moment, and I just couldn't believe that he actually said that to me.
yeah,
But I remember just crying at the office too, when and I remember being mad at myself for crying. But in light of everything that's going on right now, it just also makes sense. Um, Other things have happened. I mean, I've had tough breakups that were difficult to get over. It took some time, but that taught me, they grew myself and taught me a lot about myself, and about the world. So those have been some tough times. Um, and thankfully, I haven't had any tough times traveling that something didn't work out to just like, fix the situation. So I'm grateful for that so far.
right. So, pertaining to the racial, the personal injustices or just things you noticed, what helps you, um, keep moving on?
Yeah. I think we need to take inventory of who we are as people, and um, and just be. I think in times like this, like it's okay to brag about how excellent we are as Black people, and just like how dope we are, and just like how like we win at everything, and we do it with style, we do it with just confidence, because I think the the racist acts that we are seeing right now are really about people who think that they are better than us and who want to kind of dim that light and make it so that we have to scream things like our lives matter, like we're human beings, like our lives matter, like it's crazy that we even have to say it, but we do. And so moments like this, like I really take time to think about people that I admire, read about them, listen to music, or watch things sports related, whatever it is that you feel, can give you that confidence and that reminder that we are just excellent, amazing people. I'm trying to fill my mind and fill myself with a lot of that and just brag about like, yo, like I'm Black, we're dope. Like, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. I was about
Yeah.
to rap like I was about to give you a rap line, but Wale says, "Sue me, I'm rooting for everybody Black."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I like that song.
so, I mean, you brought up, that you admire others. So, what qualities or character traits do you admire in other people?
Um, I gravitate a lot to confidence. I admire bold, confident people who are excelling in spaces and places that don't have or who that um, haven't given people that look like me a chance to truly just show their greatness. Like, I love Serena Williams. I do play tennis, but I just, I love her as well. Like, she's just like excelling so much in tennis and in that world. And so I guess confidence really is like one of the greatest things that I admire about people. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a big piece. All right, for a fun question, if you won the
Mhm.
lottery tomorrow, what will you do?
Man, this is a good question. How much in the lottery?
500 million US dollars.
What? First of all, well, I already quit my job, so I didn't even have to say that part. Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, I'm probably buying a boat. Okay. You can come, Mike. I'll let you come.
Nice,
I'm not
nice.
buying a small house, Mike. I'm not gonna live, minimalist. I mean, I'm not gonna Gucci pie, but it's gonna be nice, okay?
Nice, nice.
No, but really, like all jokes aside, like first of all, I would pay off all existing debt, right? Um, I would try to do that. I would try to make some wise investments. Um, I I would definitely, if the world wasn't what it is now with COVID-19, like I would be on some fabulous trips. I would just have them lined up back to back to back, like we're out here. But yeah, that's pretty much what I would do. That's a really good question, because I had this one question with some coworkers. Sorry, I'm going to ask you this question, and I know this is your interview, but I think this is
Okay.
good. But we said that if you won $1 million in the lottery, would you quit your job for $1 million?
No. I mean, no.
Or a lot of people keep saying that's not a lot of money, but think about it, right? So like we consider once you start making somewhere in the 100,000s, like good salary, like good money.
Mhm.
So let's say you make 100,000 a year, just hypothetically. That's 10 times $100,000, and you will still stay at your job.
Yeah, well, I mean, so the difference with me though is the things I want to do, and so $1 million is not necessarily a lot of money to me, like where I
Okay.
am in my life.
Yeah.
And given the things that you know, the, the things that I want to do that require large sums of money will have to be, uh, in the hundreds of millions. So,
Yeah.
it, like, I mean, like, right there, I feel like, I don't necessarily work for the money, in a large sense, but is for like the psychic value that I currently get from the work that I do. So
That makes sense.
$1 million wouldn't, yeah. But if you said 500 million, then that's a different story because there's so many things. There's so many things.
That lottery is just, I don't know. We're gonna have to see. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people had a similar answer and response when we had that discussion. And some people, like doctors and folks like that, they take an oath. Their work is not necessarily all about money. They may make 500, they may win 500 million and still go to work just because of what they do. So,
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Um, there's just too many things that I have to get done that 500 million would serve as a tool to get done.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's like there's a lot that you can get done with 500 mil, but
It's really get done. Yeah, I would help a lot of people. But I would say, like, if you're asking about the first things I would do, um, I would definitely like to like eliminate some debt. Maybe keep a couple, but Sally Mae, she would get off my back. Like, first things first, like kick that to the side. So yeah.
all right. Is there anyone that you would like to thank or express your appreciation for that you haven't had the chance to yet?
Oh man. I hope my parents know that I'm grateful. Um, I love my family. Like I say all the time that it feels so secure to have like a close knit family. So, I never really feel like if I fail or if I'm lose something there won't be folks to catch me somehow. So definitely always grateful for those folks. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Family safety net is very important. Um,
Yes.
for our final question,
Ah.
how do you define success?
Oh, I define success by feeling happy, balanced, fulfilled, and purposeful. So, whatever, however you delineate all of those things, is up to you. But I value success really for the like emotional um, gains, and I kind of my metrics is more around like the emotional reactions to success, right? So you can have like a really great position at work and be unhappy, stressed out, but do you feel like if you have whatever position you are, wherever you are, like, are you successful because you feel happy, you feel like you're applying yourself, you feel like you're living on purpose, and you feel like your life is balanced in a way that you're giving and you're receiving as well. So that's definitely how I measure success.
Nice, nice. It's the perfect way to end. We connected, we politic, and we would definitely do this again in the near future.
Absolutely. Please don't forget me when you win the 500 million. Thank you.
Definitely not. Definitely not.